So today I'm gonna tell you a really embarrassing story at the dentist. I had my wisdom tooth pulled out several years ago. And what happened there was actually quite eventless, but I said something that made me reconsider my own sanity afterwards. And I was so embarrassed, not in front of the dentist or in front of anyone else, but in front of myself. Did I really say that? How could I have said that? Because it's an example of scientific thinking gone completely wrong. And I've made that mistake, and I simply want to tell you the story now, what happened. And then I'll let you guess around a little bit if you want to. And then I'm going to tell you 5 things that I did completely wrong. In other words, where I had a complete breakdown in my own scientific reasoning. And basically, it went like that. And then the appointment at the dentist, I went in the morning to the dentist to get my wisdom tooth pulled out, as this has been planned. Dentist gives me an injection, an anesthetic to make it numb, obviously, so it doesn't hurt. He took a tool, he pulled out the wisdom tooth, he put in some blood-stopping cotton padding, yeah, so that it stops bleeding, and handed me over to the nurse. And basically, the nurse said the following: it's now you're not able to feel anything because the anesthetic still works, but in a couple of hours it's going to start to hurt. That's a normal thing, she said. And then if it really hurts a lot, you take this tablet. Here she gave me this tablet in this little package with and swallow the tablet. It's a painkiller, and then if the pain still does not go away, then call us, and you come in again and we have a check whether everything's fine. Okay, so that's basically I said goodbye, finished, right? So I went home. Sure enough, after a couple of hours, I started to feel the pain, as expected. The pain increased. So what did I do? I took this little tablet, I looked at it, and there was no name written on it. So it's some kind of a painkiller, but there was no name written on it. I unpacked it. I swallowed it with a cup of water, and indeed, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes later, the pain stopped. Everything's great. So I picked up the phone and I called the dentist, and I told the dentist, pain started to appear. I swallowed the tablet. Pain is gone. The tablet worked. I think there's no need to do a checkup. And the lady said, "Thank you. Fine. I think everything's great. Have a nice day." Finished. And then I put on the telephone on back. I think I did not use my mobile phone at that time. I had a telephone, and I put it back. And then I told myself, "Oh my gosh, what did it just say? What did I just say?" I was so embarrassed, right? Oh my gosh, a complete breakdown of scientific thinking, I told myself, right? I already imagined, they're going to be rolling over in the dentist office for laughing at me. Of course, they didn't. Right? And you're going to say, what's so special? Really, what happened? What's the problem, right? There were no less than 5 mistakes, the 5 things that I did wrong, in the story here right now. 5 reasoning mistakes. And I actually wrote them down here. Basically, the overall idea is that what I've been doing, it all kind of felt like I've been, the medicine kind of worked and so on. But actually, I jumped to conclusions on several cases. So I would like to go through all of these points here, simply to show you a little bit of where my reasoning went wrong. And the first mistake is a fallacy, which is called the post hoc fallacy. And that's the main mistake in reasoning and thinking that I made. It is basically, I took the pill and it stopped hurting. So I concluded automatically the pill, the painkiller, actually stopped the pain. And that's a logical reasoning mistake. Oh, there's a fly flying around here. Why is this a logical reasoning mistake? You're going to say, well, isn't this what painkillers are for? Maybe it did help, but I cannot come to that conclusion. Just because 2 things happen at the same time does not mean that one causes the other thing to happen. Right, and this is this causation and correlation fallacy. I could have, I don't know, let's say I would have had a glass of orange juice, and the pain would have stopped. Can I then make the conclusion that the orange juice basically stopped the pain? Just because 2 things happen at the same time does not mean that one caused the other. Now, it's very likely that the tablet, the painkiller, stopped the pain, but there's no evidence for that. right? The second problem, there was no control. The sample of one, basically with a single afternoon and no version of without the pill, I can not actually come to the conclusion that the pill actually worked. So basically, what you have to do is where's the counter experiment for me feeling the pain not taking the pill, right? Then and the pain then not stopping, right? So there a complete counter experiment was missing, and this was already the second mistake. So there's nothing to compare to. The third one is well, maybe there was a placebo effect. All right, so maybe it was a placebo. Actually, that's what I thought later on. Maybe they have given me some kind of a placebo. There wasn't. Yeah. So this is the third thing. Even medicine that does contain a medical substance, medically active substance, there can be to a certain extent a placebo effect there, right? And me expecting the pain to stop can already contribute for the pain stopping. Right. That was the next one, and the fourth one it's called the mirror mistake, because at the end I looked at the tablet and there was actually nothing written on it. So I came to the conclusion, gee, maybe they've given me a placebo, right? But I have no evidence for that either, right? So first I assumed, well, the pill worked. That's what I told the doctor's office, and then later on I said, well, actually, I've been considering maybe they did not even give me a real pill. Right? What am I talking about here? Right? I can now immediately I'm jumping to the other conclusion. And then the worst one, the biggest mistake that I made is not a real reasoning mistake. What in the world was I even thinking about? I mean, I was actually swallowing a tablet without a name written on it. I didn't even know what I'd swallowed. And that actually gave me then later on the idea, well, maybe it was a placebo. I don't know. I don't know what I swallowed. How in the world could I swallow anything where I don't even know what it is? Let's say I would have had some kind of I don't know, a reaction, allergic reaction. And when the doctor would ask me, what did you eat? And I said, I don't know, I swallowed some kind of a pill, but I don't know what it is. Come on. Yeah. So these are all the things that I realized afterwards. And now why am I telling you that? Because when I talk to people who are kind of taking sort of quack medicine, things that can't work. And I've got a science background, yeah, and so I'm a biologist by training, and then they kind of, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, man, this cannot work what you're taking here. And then they say, well, actually, I don't mind. I'm not interested in the science as long as it works. Yeah, I feel better afterwards. And I say, okay, but maybe the medicine didn't make you feel better. Maybe you would have felt better anyway. And that's another thing here is I assumed that by swallowing this pill, it made me feel better. Maybe I would have felt better anyway afterwards, because that's actually what happens in most cases. You feel pain somewhere, and in most cases, it will disappear on its own because the body is able to heal itself. Right, so that's one of the reasons where people sometimes ascribe they go to some kind of, I don't know, of practitioners and so on, and they prescribe some kind of stuff, and it's very clear to me, come on, man, this is not real stuff, and then the people say, well, actually it worked. And I said, yeah, okay, maybe you got better yourself, right? But there was no proper testing of this stuff, and so and basically what happened with me is I actually fell into the same mistaken reasoning with a pill from the dentist. Yeah. So I'm just saying that even I myself am not completely immune to reasoning errors. And to summarize this a little bit, I would say probably the main mistake was actually assuming that okay, I swallowed the pill, the pain stopped, and now basically said the pill worked. Yeah. Maybe it did, right? And most likely it did. Probably. But actually, this is something that has to be properly tested. And this was not something that I've done on myself, right? And maybe they have given me a placebo, right? Could be, yeah. I don't think so that dentists would do that, but I jumped to early conclusions even before actually getting more information, and that's a little bit the problem. Yeah, one of my favorite authors, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He's the author who wrote Sherlock Holmes, right? The big, great detective Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes was quoted to say, I mean, he's a fictional character, Sherlock Holmes, but he's quoted of being saying it's a cardinal mistake. It's a cardinal mistake to theorize before one has data. Uh, Inevitably, one starts to change facts to suit theories instead of changing theories to suit facts. So basically, even Sherlock Holmes, the fictional character, basically said, "This is what we have to be careful. Is we don't have to be careful that we don't jump to early conclusions, because if we do that, we're going to end up changing the facts around to suit our own preconceived biases." And not the other way around. And this is kind of what I wanted to share with you. And now you know why I felt a little bit embarrassed about myself. Nobody knew about that, but now you know. And the reason is because I made some cardinal thinking mistakes myself by jumping to early conclusions. Have a nice day.